Hello folks, well I had a little question or two, one from Willie Bees, or Keith, and with regard to doing the veggies with the veggie knives. Now the two that I tend to use, well the one that I use the most is this one, which is the Jack Pike Hunter's knife, and the other one, you use a fair old bit, not as much so, is the my Swiss Outrider knife. Now the Swiss Outrider knife has the advantage that you've got the, I can take them out there, you've got the bradawl type thing, so that's good for doing your coconuts, and I've done a video on that one. The I can't remember what you call that now, brain's gone. Never mind. You know what it is, you put it in and twist it around and make a hole with that. And the Swiss one has the advantage in terms of being a thinner blade. So what you find is that with the old, you've got a lot of carrot, and obviously you can peel it off alright, just sort of, although I'm not doing it very well there, but you can just sort of skim it off, sort of like that. I'm doing it a bit quick, I'm doing it a bit messy, but you can see that cleans it off quite nice, quite quick really. But don't know if I'm doing it on camera alright, but yeah, that's kind of just taking the outer skin off just very finely, just sort of giving it a quick shave really. And again, I'll just swap over to the Swiss one, and you can see that I can do pretty much the same with the Swiss one. It's a case of getting the angle right. If you get the angle too steep, then you start if you get the angle too steep, you start cutting into the carrot itself and take great chunks off. But if you get it just right, and both knives are very sharp, so they tend to just skim it off nicely. Now I'm just going to take the end off. Now I'm going to take the end off obviously with the I'll do it initially with the Swiss one. I'm looking at a viewfinder upside down at the moment folks, so sorry about that if I go the wrong direction at any time. So that did it with that one. Now I'm also going to do the same thing with the other end with my Jack Pike, and you see that pretty much it does the same job. But being it's a little bit thicker blade, what you tend to find is it'll, with something like a carrot, I'm just going to wipe the blade off a bit because it's got a bit of the skin on it. I don't really want the skin on there when I'm chopping through the carrot itself. But if you sort of kind of want to split it, what I tend to do is sort of split it down the middle there. But what you find with the carrot, because the blade is quite thick, obviously you can use the thinner end there, and then just kind of, I just pull it towards me. But what you find is that it tends to, I don't know if you can see that bit that's broken off the end there, carrots tend to fragment a little bit more. So if your main purpose for your knife was that you was going to prepare lots of carrots, then I'd probably say stick with, I'm just taking a bit of skin off there, I'd probably say stick with a Swiss one because it's got the thinner blade on it. I'm just going to put that somewhere else. And as you can see, if I do, what I do is I do one bit with a Swiss knife, and you can see it just sort of whiz through there. This is with the Outrider. I've done that bit there. Now I'll show you the same sort of thing with the Jack Pike, and you can see it does it pretty well, but because that blade's a little bit thicker there, it's not quite so good on the carrots. Now I use the Jack Pike one for pretty much everything, and I'm just going to do, got a turnip there. All I'll do is take the top off, take the bottom off, and then I'll just go around the old turnip. Except for I'm not doing it very well, but you can see basically pretty much like you peel an apple, really. Sort of do it like that, go around it, and not quite got him all off there, but I'm getting here folks. Well, I like, I don't know, something about the shape of the old jack pike blade that it just seems to, because it's curved, I suppose it tends to fit quite nicely on the old veggies. So that's me turnip peeled, and I'll show you it just sort of a bit there sliced through. So turnip's alright. I'll do it with the old Swiss one. So as I say, either of these ones really. I suppose if you was a bit short of a bob or two and you can only have one, I'd probably go for the Swiss one, because they're both locking knives. You can see the Swiss one, this is the outrider knife, and the jack pike's got the liner lock there. That you can get for less than a tenner in the UK. The cheapest I've seen one of these is about 25 quid, something like that, 24 quid, something like that. So horses for courses, depends what you're up to really as well. Obviously if you got this one, you got the scissors on there, screwdriver and saw and various other bits and pieces. So if you was, if you only have one, I'd probably, as I say, I'd probably spend a little bit extra and have the old Swiss one. As you can see, if you look at the length of the blades, don't know if you can see that. There's not that much. There's not that much in it really. Blade length's about the same. Obviously, this blade being a bit chunkier, it depends what you're trying to do. But personally, I as I say, this one I use on a daily basis for vegetables. The only downside, as I say, is because I don't know if you can see, they're not a huge amount thicker, and if you use this bit down this end, it's sort of that where it's thinner. Then if you was doing like your carrots and stuff, I suppose. As I say, I don't care if this bit goes through the carrots and it breaks open a bit. Well, and you end up with carrot pieces instead of carrot sticks. Don't bother me. But obviously, if you was trying to be a bit prettier, then your Swiss one's probably the better one on that side of thing. And it brings me, I'll just round up on this because All Seeing Eye, he says if you was in a emergency situation, what knife would you? If you could only have one knife, which one would you have? And his preference was for a Leatherman. I can't remember exactly which flavour of it was. I personally like the Leatherman Wave. I think it's fantastic. And if I was in a sort of situation where I was in a sort of like a city or a town or somewhere like that, because you've got all the screwdriver bits and stuff, fantastic. Obviously, from an emergency point of view, well, a knife's always a good thing to have in an emergency, because you never know. You might have to cut somebody free out of, somebody's got caught up in something and you need to cut them free, cut a bit of clothing off so that you can get them out of a vehicle or something like that. On the other hand, as I say, with this one, because it's so nice and compact and it's small, if I was out in a wilderness type situation, I might well like the old Swiss knife, simply because you've got things like scissors on there, and that's handy for cutting things like fingernails that get stuck in everything and stuff. So I don't know, probably if I was in an emergency situation, because it's lightweight, I like, relatively speaking, I like compact, like relatively lightweight. I don't know what the weight is, but that's what I tend to go for. Anyway, I think I'm over my time, so cheers for